There is a massive paradox sitting right at the center of the business world today.
Yeah, it really is.
And it directly impacts you, whether you're, managing a team, studying market trends, or just trying to figure out where the whole tech sector is heading next.
Right.
So here's the paradox. Why is building the smartest, most capable AI model in the world suddenly, well, not enough to actually win the enterprise market?
It's a fascinating contradiction, honestly. I mean, you'd think raw intelligence like the smartest algorithm with the biggest context window would just automatically take the crown, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the old saying, if you build a better mousetrap, the corporate world should beat a path to your door.
Exactly. But the reality on the ground is proving to be uh, infinitely more complicated than that.
Which brings us to the mission of our deep dive today. We're looking at Anthropic, the company behind the AI model, Claude.
Right, they just made some major moves.
They did. They recently made some really significant official announcements regarding their Claude Partner Network. And specifically, they've launched a new services track and a partner hub.
Huge announcements for the industry.
Definitely. So our goal today is to understand this massive strategic shift that's happening right now. We're going to explore why AI companies are pivoting away from just selling access to smart models and moving really heavily toward building vast, complex enterprise ecosystems.
It's just a totally different ballgame.
It really is. And because understanding this shift requires a highly specific vocabulary, we are going to deliberately unpack the exact business English terms the industry uses.
Yeah, the terminology is key here.
Absolutely. So just a quick stylistic note for you listening. We're going to be speeding at a slightly more relaxed, deliberate pace today, probably 15 to 20% slower than a normal business podcast.
Right. We want to give you time to really absorb these terms.
Right. Exactly. We're going to pause briefly after key business terms so you can really chew on the corporate jargon. Because it's not just marketing fluff, right? We need to understand the mechanics of how it actually dictates business strategy.
I think that's really the only way to tackle this topic. I mean, in enterprise software, the terminology is the strategy.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the mechanisms behind the words, you don't understand the market.
Well said. So let's start with an analogy to kind of set the stage. Buying a massive enterprise-grade AI model right now feels a lot like buying a high-performance supersonic jet engine.
Okay, I like this.
It's an absolute marvel of modern engineering, right? It's incredibly powerful. But if a vendor just drops a jet engine into the middle of your corporate lobby, it's completely useless.
Yeah, you can't really do anything with it.
Right. You need an airplane to attach it to. And more importantly, you need a highly specialized team of mechanics to wire that engine into the plane's existing, hydraulic and electrical systems so it can actually fly without blowing up.
Exactly. The engine alone doesn't get you off the ground.
Exactly. So my question to you is, if these AI models are getting exponentially smarter every single day, why is the actual delivery of that intelligence becoming the absolute hardest part of the business?
Well, to answer that, we really have to look at the context of what Anthropic is actually trying to do with these new announcements. The stated goal of the Claude Partner Network isn't just to help organizations buy or chat with Claude.
Right.
The language they use in the sources is very specific. It's to help organizations build, deploy, and scale AI. Anthropic is aggressively prioritizing trust, security, reliability, and highly operational use cases.
So they're moving past the novelty phase.
Completely. They're trying to force a transition from the playing around experimentation phase into actual production deployment.
Production deployment. Okay, let's drill into that term because I think people outside of software engineering might misunderstand what in production actually means.
Yeah, it's a very specific state.
Right. It doesn't just mean we are using it. It means the software is live, it's facing real customers, or it's handling, sensitive, mission-critical daily operations.
Exactly. I mean, for the last 2 years, businesses have essentially been in a sandbox. Employees use AI to draft marketing emails or brainstorm ideas.
Low-stakes stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If the AI makes a mistake, if it hallucinates, it's just a mild annoyance. The stakes are low. But a production deployment means the AI is hardwired into your business.
Right.
If it fails, your business loses money or breaks a compliance law or leaks private user data. Moving an AI from a fun little chat interface into a secure, heavily monitored production environment is a brutal, friction-filled process.
And that friction directly threatens customer adoption.
Huge threat to it, yeah.
Because if the software is too hard to deploy safely, companies will they'll just stop trying. And I want to be precise with how we use customer adoption here. We aren't just talking about a company signing a contract and paying for licenses, right?
No, not at all. True adoption means the product is fully integrated and sticky. The customer's employees actually rely on it daily.
Right.
In the software as a service world, if you have high sales but low customer adoption, those customers are going to churn. I mean, they'll cancel their contracts the second renewal time comes around.
Okay, but let me push back on this whole premise for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm looking at tools like Claude, and they're famous for being incredibly intuitive. They speak plain English, you type a prompt, you get an answer.
Cover user-friendly, yeah.
Right. So why can't a large Fortune 500 company just figure this out internally? Why do they need Anthropic to build a whole network of external partners just to adopt a tool that is fundamentally designed to be easy to use?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
But it's because you're thinking about a single user sitting in a laptop. An enterprise operates more like a dense, interconnected city.
Okay.
It's thousands of people operating under strict regulatory protocols, using dozens of fragmented legacy software systems that somehow need to communicate with each other.
Ah, right. The legacy systems.
Yeah. Let's say a massive insurance company wants Claude to automatically read incoming claims, analyze them against the patient's specific policy, and draft an approval or denial.
Wow. Okay.
You can't just copy and paste sensitive medical data into a public web browser. You have to build custom data pipelines, what the industry calls RAG pipelines, to connect Claude securely to your private on-premise servers.
Right, because of a HIPAA and data privacy law.
Exactly. You have to ensure the AI's memory is siloed so it doesn't accidentally leak one patient's data to another patient. That requires intense, highly specialized engineering.
Which brings us perfectly to the main story and the two new mechanisms Anthropic just announced to solve this exact bottleneck.
Yes.
First, they introduced the services track within their partner network, and second, they launched a partner hub.
Two very critical pieces of infrastructure.
So let's dissect the services track first. The source material says this is designed specifically for consulting, implementation, and delivery-oriented partners. What does this structurally look like for Anthropic's business model?
Well, structurally, a services track is basically an admission by the AI vendor that they cannot possibly hire enough of their own engineers to do all this custom integration work for every single client.
That it just can't scale that fast.
Exactly. A track is a formalized, certified pathway. It's Anthropic saying to third-party consulting firms, if your entire business model is installing and optimizing software for other companies, we are going to give you the official blueprints, the training, and the advanced API access to do that specifically with Claude.
Wow, so it's essentially a capacity multiplier.
That's a great way to put it.
Instead of Anthropic trying to build an army of thousands of direct enterprise salespeople and deployment engineers, they're incentivizing outside businesses to do it for them. This is all about scaling their service delivery.
Precisely. Designing the foundational model is product development, but actually flying out to a client's headquarters in Ohio, auditing their security infrastructure, and writing the code that connects Claude to their internal databases.
That's the hard part.
Right, that is service delivery. It's the messy, labor-intensive execution phase.
Which leads us to the second announcement, the Partner Hub. The release describes this as a tool to help customers discover and work with partners based on their specific needs.
It's like a specialized directory.
Right. So if I'm a global bank and I want to deploy Claude, I don't just email Anthropic's generic support line. I go to this hub to find a certified consulting firm that already specializes in banking regulations and AI security.
Exactly. The hub acts as a matching mechanism. The market right now has massive pent-up enterprise demand for AI, but there's a severe bottleneck in the supply of engineers who actually know how to deploy it safely.
So they're trying to clear the bottleneck.
Yes. The Partner Hub is designed to eliminate the friction of finding the right talent.
So really what we're watching here is a massive evolution in their go-to-market strategy.
Yes, absolutely.
And I want to highlight that term because it's so central to this shift. A company's go-to-market strategy isn't just its marketing plan, right? It's the comprehensive architecture of how they actually deliver their product to the end customer.
Right.
Anthropic is shifting from a direct product-led go-to-market motion to a partner-led channel-driven motion.
That's the key takeaway here. They're realizing They can't rely solely on their own internal channels to distribute this technology. They need these external partners to act as an extended, highly specialized sales and delivery force.
And to ground this in a very concrete fact from our sources, Anthropic recently announced that KPMG is their first global services partner designed to scale enterprise AI transformation.
That's a huge signal to the market.
It really is. I want to dig into this because I think it's incredibly revealing. KPMG is one of the big four accounting and professional services firms in the world. They aren't some trendy Silicon Valley startup.
No, they are as corporate as it gets.
Exactly. When an AI lab partners with a century-old giant like KPMG, what does that tell us about the actual mechanics of enterprise software?
It tells you that the deployment phase is serious, heavy-lifting corporate work. Companies like KPMG are brought in to act as an implementation partner.
Implementation partner. Let's break down what that actually does day to day, because they aren't just giving advice on a whiteboard. Right?
So far from it.
Right.
An implementation partner is the external firm hired to configure, customize, and physically stand up a new system.
They're the mechanics.
Yes, they're the specialized mechanics from your jet engine analogy earlier. Often, in cases like this, they function as a systems integrator.
A systems integrator. And they deal with the reality of what we call tech debt, right?
Constantly. That's their main obstacle.
Because most large companies have a terrifying mix of software. They might have a modern cloud platform running right alongside a legacy on-premise database that was built in, I don't know, 2004.
Oh, or even older.
Right. So the systems integrator writes the API middleware, the digital plumbing, so the brand new AI model can actually query that ancient database without crashing the whole thing.
Exactly. That's the messy reality.
Yeah.
And they do that to achieve what we call workflow integration.
Now, workflow integration, this is a concept we really need to pause and explore, because this is where the theoretical value of AI meets the actual human worker.
It's the make or break moment.
So how do you define good workflow integration versus bad workflow integration?
Okay, so bad workflow integration is when you buy an AI tool, give your employees a login, and basically just say, go use this.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It is, because what happens, the employee has to keep their main work screen open, then open a completely separate browser tab for the AI, copy information from screen A, paste it into screen B, write a prompt, copy the result, and paste it back into screen A.
That's so tedious.
It's incredibly clunky. It breaks their concentration, and within a week, they'll just stop using it entirely.
Right. It actually adds friction to their day instead of removing it.
Precisely. Good workflow integration, on the other hand, means the AI is practically invisible. It's just a button or an automated background process inside the software the employee already uses 8 hours a day.
Oh, that makes sense.
But to achieve that, the systems integrator has to map out exactly how an employee does their job, step by step, and weave the model directly into that specific path.
But here's the thing. Even if KPMG builds the absolute perfect technical system, even if the APIs hum beautifully and the workflow integration is flawless,
You still have a problem.
right, you still have to deal with the humans. Which brings us to a term that, I have to be completely honest with you, I have always hated.
Let me guess.
Change management.
Yep, there it is.
Whenever I hear executives say change management, it just sounds like hollow corporate jargon. It sounds like a buzzword consultants invent so they can bill an extra $1 million to a project.
I completely understand why you're skeptical of the term because, frankly, it's often used poorly.
Right. What does change management actually look like on the ground when human workers are confronted with AI?
Well, in the context of enterprise AI, it might be the single most critical factor in whether a multi-million-dollar investment succeeds or just goes up in flames.
Wow, really? That critical?
Absolutely. Change management on the ground is essentially managing human psychology and organizational friction.
Okay, give me an example.
Imagine you have a division of data analysts who have built their entire careers, their entire sense of professional worth, around their ability to manually synthesize complex reports.
Okay.
Suddenly, management introduces an AI that can do 70% of that synthesis in 10 seconds. What's the immediate human reaction?
Well, they're terrified. They think, I'm going to be fired or my salary is going to be slashed.
Exactly. And when employees are terrified, they rebel.
Mm-hmm.
They might refuse to use the new system. They might claim the AI's outputs are untrustworthy and secretly do all the work manually anyway.
Completely destroying the efficiency gains the company just paid for.
Exactly. Real change management is the highly structured process of preventing that rebellion. It involves clear communication plans about job security.
Yeah.
It involves literally redesigning job titles. transitioning someone from a data entry clerk to an AI output auditor.
Oh, I see.
It requires intensive reskilling and training programs. If you just drop the technology on them and skip the change management, the corporate immune system will attack and reject the AI.
That makes perfect sense when you frame it as overcoming the corporate immune system. You can buy the multi-million-dollar jet engine. You can hire the best mechanics to integrate it into the plane.
Right.
But if the pilots refuse to fly it because they don't trust the new automated dashboard, the whole plane just sits on the runway.
That's it, exactly. And this massive human and technical friction is exactly why we were seeing companies like Anthropic transition from being mere model labs into ecosystem builders.
This highlights a fascinating, overarching shift in the entire industry. The competitive landscape in AI is fundamentally changing.
It really is.
It's no longer just a race between scientists to build the smartest model. The real battlefield is now about who can build the most robust ecosystem.
Yes. And a mature partner ecosystem functions as a massive strategic moat.
A moat.
Right. Just like a moat of water protects a medieval castle from invaders, a competitive advantage protects a company's market share. In enterprise software, ecosystems are the ultimate moat.
Now, I want to debate this with you for a second. Is it really a defensible moat?
Let's hear it.
Let's look at KPMG again. They just partnered with Anthropic. But KPMG is a smart, massive business. They're going to build an integration practice for Claude, sure, but they are absolutely going to build a practice for OpenAI and a practice for Google's Gemini.
Well, they definitely will.
Right. So if the system integrators are completely agnostic and will sell whatever the client wants, how does having them in your ecosystem actually protect Anthropic?
That is a fantastic pushback. You're right that the massive integrators will play the field. The moat isn't about exclusive loyalty. The moat is about the depth of your enablement.
Ah, enablement. That's a crucial piece of vocabulary here. Let's pause on that. Enablement.
Right. Enablement is the process of providing your external partners with the absolute best tools, training, technical support, and financial incentives to sell and install your product.
So making their lives easier.
Exactly. If I'm a partner at a consulting firm and a client asks for AI, I'm going to recommend the model that is easiest for my team to deploy securely and the one that is most profitable for my firm to service.
Human nature, right.
Right. So if Anthropic provides superior enablement, if their API documentation is cleaner, if their partner hub provides better leads, if their services track gives my engineers faster technical support, then I'm going to steer my clients toward Claude.
Oh, wow.
The ecosystem moat isn't about locking partners in. It's about making your technology the path of least resistance for the people doing the selling.
That's brilliant. It's about reducing the friction for the middlemen so they basically become your biggest advocates.
Yeah.
And that connects everything back to why the services track and partner hub exist in the first place. They are massive specialized enablement tools.
They are the foundation of the moat.
When you zoom out and look at this bigger picture, it begs a really interesting historical comparison.
Okay, what are you thinking?
Are these incredibly modern, futuristic AI labs inevitably evolving to look exactly like the legacy enterprise software giants of the 90s and 2000s?
Oh, interesting.
I'm thinking about companies like SAP, Oracle, or Salesforce. With those companies, the massive army of outside consultants who install and customize the software is arguably just as important as the software code itself. Are AI companies just becoming the new oracles?
The evidence strongly points to yes. We tend to view AI through this sci-fi lens, but at the end of the day, it's B2B enterprise software.
Right.
The competition has moved out of the laboratory. It is now entirely about who can govern, secure, and scale that intelligence inside real, messy human business processes. The infrastructure of delivery is becoming just as valuable as the product itself.
That is a perfect transition. So let's distill everything we've unpacked today into 3 crisp takeaways for you listening.
Number 1, the nature of enterprise AI competition has fundamentally shifted. It's no longer just about having the highest quality model or the smartest algorithm.
Right.
Success increasingly hinges on service delivery and having the implementation capacity to actually get the AI working inside a complex corporate environment.
And number 2, infrastructure updates like Anthropic's new services track and partner hub aren't just minor administrative PR announcements, they are critical go-to-market tools.
Exactly.
By investing in enablement, Anthropic reduces friction between buyers and sellers, extending their reach far beyond what their internal direct sales team could ever achieve.
And number 3, Because large organizations require intense workflow integration, strict security compliance, and human-centric change management, global professional service firms are becoming the indispensable channels for AI deployment.
You really just can't do it without them.
No, you simply cannot scale enterprise AI without systems integrators building the bridges.
This has been an incredibly revealing deep dive into the real mechanics of the AI industry. We've moved past the hype of the algorithms and looked at the actual digital plumbing of how businesses adopt technology.
That's where the real work happens.
It is. We've explored critical concepts like production deployment, partner ecosystems, systems integrators, and change management, not just as vocabulary words, but as the gears that drive the market.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you, listening at home or on your commute, with a final provocative thought to mull over. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments or on social media.
The big question.
It really is.
Yeah.
If it's true that enterprises are actually buying the implementation, the complex, messy human process of workflow integration and change management rather than just buying access to a smart model, how will this alter the way we value AI startups in the future? If the actual delivery of the tech is the hardest part, will these high-flying tech innovators eventually be judged and valued by Wall Street more like massive, labor-intensive consulting firms than pure high-margin software companies? Let us know what you think.
It is arguably the defining financial question for the next era of the tech industry.
It really is. Thank you for joining us as we unpacked the jet engine and explored the true mechanics of enterprise AI. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.